What's up, everybody? It is a TPC pregame show. We're about to get this thing going, guys. What's up, everybody? It's your boy SK with the Purple Code pregame show. We welcome the Arizona Cardinals into Minnesota, which, like I said in the heading, they haven't won since 1977 in the state of Minnesota against the Minnesota Vikings. So we got that going for us. Obviously, we dropped the game against Arizona last year in Arizona with a last-second missed field goal by Greg Joseph. But hey, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the past. We're not going to talk about last year. We're not going to talk about the 10 previous wins we have against the Arizona Cardinals since 1977 in Minnesota. But first off, we're going to go over this injury report. Obviously, if you've been following along, the Minnesota Vikings are pretty much completely healthy. Andrew Booth is off the injury report. The only person that showed up on the injury report late this week was Jonathan Bullard, who's I don't know if he's out yet. I don't think they released the official final injury report if Bullard was going to miss today, but he has an illness. But we can welcome DJ Wonen back. We can welcome Andrew Booth back. And I believe those are the only other guys that have really been on the injury report. Jalen Naylor was on the injury report earlier in the week, but he was a full participant, so we won't have to worry about that. As for the Arizona Cardinals, the Cardinals are beat up. I kind of just put the major names on my list because there were so many that I could have put on there. But first and foremost, James Conner is out, running back. Max Garcia is out. Rodney Hudson is out. Byron Murphy has been listed as questionable, so I'm not completely sure if he's listed as out yet. And then we also have Matt Prater, who will play today, the kicker for the Arizona Cardinals, but is dealing with a hip injury. So that may hamper their field goal kicking abilities. Now, Arizona Cardinals are already one of those teams that likes to go for it on fourth down. I would expect to see a game like we played against the Detroit Lions, where the Lions were going for every fourth down. They didn't care. They were going for it, whether in their field goal range or not. What's up, Skol Mafia? Welcome in. So I believe this is going to be one of those games where Arizona, they're going to take every opportunity possible. If it's within 4 yards and it's a fourth down and it's a reasonable field position, they're going for it. They're not going to kick a long field goal. They're going for it. So with Prater's injury, that pretty much just tells me that as well. Expect a lot of fourth down plays from the Arizona Cardinals. So outside of the injury report, man, I like to go over how we win and how we lose. This is kind of a segment I've been doing since I've been doing these pregame shows, how we win the game and how we lose the game. I'll start off about how we win. Obviously, we all know this. When you play Kyler Murray in the Arizona Cardinals, you have to contain Kyler Murray. You cannot allow him outside of the pocket. That is when he's dangerous. That's when he's chucking the ball downfield. He's getting the ball to DeAndre Hopkins, this is his second game back. I believe he had 14 or 15 targets in his first game back. So I expect to see a lot of DeAndre Hopkins in this game. We know Patrick Peterson isn't going to follow him on both sides of the field. So it's up to Cam Dantzler. And to be honest with you, it seems like offenses have been funneling towards Cam Dantzler, and rightfully so. Cam Dantzler is giving up a passer rating of 114 to every opposing quarterback. Now, granted, I've liked what I've seen out of Cam Dantzler lately. Early on in the season, his coverage wasn't as strong as I would like it to be, but him coming up in run support has been great. The thing is that I want to see more improvement in his coverage skills. Obviously, the opposing passer rating has been 114, so that's not very good. But again, I do see improvement for Cam Dantzler, so expect to see a lot of DeAndre Hopkins against Cam Dantzler today. As we've seen from offenses in prior weeks, they like funneling the offense towards Cam Dantzler's side. So I'm not saying that Patrick Peterson isn't going to get any work, but I do expect to see DeAndre Hopkins on the side of Cam Dantzler quite a bit. As for the offense, outside of containing Kyler, but as for the offense, you got to end every possession in a kick. You cannot give these Arizona Cardinals opportunities to get good field position and get points on the board. That's how they win games. The last game against the Saints is a prime example. They got 2 pick sixes. They got another interception. I believe they had a fumble or 2 in that game that really allowed them to win that game. Let's be completely honest with you. But if you look at their defense is very similar to ours. Extremely similar to ours. They're going to give up a whole lot of yards. They want to be that bend, don't break type of defense. But they rely heavily on turnovers, just like we do. As Donatel preaches, hey, strip the ball, go for picks. We are this bend, don't break defense. You know, we are going to give up yards, but if you have an opportunity to get the ball back for your offense, they're going to do that. And that's exactly what they did against the Saints last week. So you cannot give Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals more possessions than what we give them already. We know this defense is going to bend. We know Kyler Murray's going to put up a good stat line. He'll probably throw for over 300 yards. Our red zone defense isn't very good. We're towards the bottom of the league in red zone defense, giving up touchdowns instead of holding teams to field goals. So you got to contain Kyler Murray, and you got to end every possession in a kick, whether that be a field goal, whether that be an extra point, or whether that be a punt. You cannot turn the ball over against this Arizona Cardinals team. You're the better team. You cannot give them more opportunities to put up points. Plain and simple. And then get the run game going early, whether that be Dalvin Cook, whether that be Alexander Mattison. This Arizona Cardinals team gives up 4.5 yards per carry on the ground. Now, granted, they're a very bad pass defense as well. Overall, they're just not a very good defense. They don't get after the quarterback. They don't stop the run well. They're not very good on the back end. You got to take advantage of that. But in my personal opinion, to get this offense going, you got to predicate it off the run. You got to. And that's, purely Kirk Cousins. We know Kirk isn't the best guy that's going to straight drop back and cut you up. He can do that. But when Kirk is at his best, we have a run game going, and we're getting that play action pass going. And I don't think I've seen enough of that this year. I want to see a little bit more of that. But I do expect to see us to run the ball early, and then that'll open up the pass game later on. So I think that's how we win this game. Now, how we lose the game, which is very possible. The Cardinals are very capable of beating this Minnesota Vikings team in Minnesota for the very first time since 1977. And how we lose that game is exactly what I just touched on. If you turn the ball over, you're putting yourself in a position to where you're going to lose this game. Now, a lot of you already know my opinion on Kyler Murray, and I believe Kirk Cousins is the better quarterback, whether that be on or off the field or leadership or whatever it may be. I believe Kirk Cousins is the better quarterback, but Kyler Murray has a higher ceiling, if I'm being honest with you. If Kyler Murray is on and he's done his film study and he's comfortable and you're not containing him and he's able to sit back there and run around and kind of do whatever he wants, he's a good quarterback. He's a very good quarterback, and he's going to cut you up. But if you make it tough on him, if you don't allow him to get outside of the pocket, if you keep him in that pocket against those big, tall defensive linemen and those tall offensive linemen where he can't see over them, then you give yourself a chance. Number two, how we lose this game. If we're allowing Arizona's offense to be comfortable, another thing that I just touched on, you cannot allow Kyler Murray to sit back there and be comfortable. It's unacceptable. If you do that, he's going to cut you up. He's got DeAndre Hopkins, who they have a winning record with when he's on the field. Their record changes drastically when DeAndre Hopkins is not on the field. Well, he's on the field. That's his number one guy. He's going to get 15 targets. He's probably going to get 9, 10 receptions as well. You're going to have to accept that. But what are you going to do as far as the comfort of Kyler Murray? Are you going to allow him to sit back there and just toss the ball around? Or are you going to get after it and contain him and keep him in that pocket? That is the main question right there. So contain Kyler Murray and don't allow Arizona's offense to get comfortable. Because if you allow Arizona's offense to get comfortable and Kyler Murray to get comfortable, he's going to torch you. Plain and simple. Cannot allow Kyler Murray to be comfortable. And then the third reason why we would lose this game, settling for field goals. And that's kind of been our gripe lately with this offense. Yeah, we move the ball. We have our times where we have our 3 and outs, which is terrible. We cannot not have those 3 and outs. We got to move the ball. But when you are in scoring position, you cannot settle for field goals, especially when you're going up against an offense that can put up points. Now, they don't do it every week. They struggle, just like it seems like everybody is doing this year in the NFL. But they have the capability of putting up 30, 40 plus points on teams. So you cannot settle for field goals when you're in the red zone, when you're in scoring position. You got to get in the end zone. We cannot settle for another 5 field goal performance from Greg Joseph and us eking out a win. You can't do that. You got to get in the end zone. You got to get touchdowns. So if you settle for field goals, there's a good chance you may lose this game. So that brings me to my prediction. Thank you, Jay Sports Den, from tapping in. My guy Rap from Purple Pocket Podcast tapping in. He was supposed to tap in with me, but he's not home right now. Skull Mafia, thank you for tapping in, my guy. But this brings me to my prediction, guys. Some of you may not be very happy with me, but I got to be honest with you. I'll start with some stats. Kirk Cousins, I think Kirk's going to have a big game. This is going to be his biggest game thus far in the 2022 season. I think he does go for over 300 yards in this game because that Arizona pass defense is really bad. Really bad. Just as bad as ours, guys. So Kirk Cousins, I believe, is going to go for over 300 yards. Probably have 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be back and forth. Both defenses are going to struggle just like we've been struggling all season long. But on the defensive side of the ball for the Vikings, I think Jordan Hicks is going to play a big role for this defense. A lot of people are saying Patrick Peterson, the former Cardinal, he's going to get his revenge on his team and this and that. A lot of people forget Jordan Hicks was on this Cardinals team last year. So he's looking for revenge. They didn't want him. They went out and they drafted a linebacker. They got rid of Jordan Hicks. So I expect Jordan Hicks to come out with his hair on fire and to play a very, very good game. With that being said, I don't see us winning this game, guys. Unfortunately, I have the Cardinals winning this. Again, I think it's going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be a shootout. But with how we've been playing, and now granted, I'm not complaining. We're 5-1 going into this game. But we've all, me, Justin, Rap, a few other people here on the Purple Code, we understand the way we've been playing isn't sustainable. You cannot continue to play the way we've been playing, whether that be on the defensive side of the ball, whether that even be on the offensive side of the ball with all these 3 and outs. You cannot continue to play this way and expect to win the games we've been winning. We've got some luck, which is part of the NFL. Any team that's been going on a run, playoff run, or has a really good regular season, it's filled with luck. It's filled with breaks. It happens. It's part of the NFL. It all fell the opposite way last year to where we weren't getting the luck. We weren't getting the breaks. Well, now we're getting the luck. We're getting the breaks. But that isn't sustainable. You cannot continue to rely on those breaks week in and week out. Against the Miami Dolphins 2 weeks ago, before our bye week, the refs helped us out tremendously. I believe it's their second possession for the Miami Dolphins. They had like 5 penalties in one possession, 6 penalties in one possession that kicked them out of scoring range. So we cannot continue to rely on the refs. We cannot continue to rely on luck. And I believe this is one of those games where it comes back to bite us, to where we're not able to rely on those things. And we may be settling for field goals when it comes to being in scoring position. And that puts the Cardinals on top for me. I think they win it 33-31 on a last-second field goal. Again, back and forth. Kirk Cousins has a very good game. I believe Kyler Murray's going to put up some stats as well. But I just think the Cardinals come out on top. And I think that was the same score as last year, 33-31. Now, I hope I'm wrong, guys. I really do. But something's just telling me that us not doing what we should be doing outside of winning these games. Again, I'm not complaining. Outside of winning these games, we cannot continue to play the way we've been playing and expect the same result. We can't. And I know KOC knows that, and I know this coaching staff knows that, and I know they're preaching that. We got to get better. The season is getting harder. We got the Cowboys coming up. We got the Bills coming up. We got the Jets. We got the Giants. We got a bunch of teams that have a very good record and are very good teams in this league. But I don't think we get this one. This one's going to be tough, just like every game's been this year. This one's going to be tough. I know we are coming out of a bye. The Minnesota Vikings record coming out of a bye since 2010 is 3-9. Not very good. I think 2 of those years were Leslie Frazier, so you can't completely blame that on Mike Zimmer. But that's something that's noteworthy there. And we don't necessarily know how KOC and this coaching staff is out of a bye week. We don't know. This is completely new to us. He could come out, we could be a completely different team, and we could torch this Arizona Cardinals team, which I wouldn't be surprised if we do that. But I'm not going to sit here and try and convince myself that we're going to go out and blow a team out. I've been trying to convince myself the first 6 weeks of the season. It hasn't got there. We're close with the Chicago Bears. Let them back into the game. Eked out a victory against them. I don't see it coming this week. Arizona, desperate for another win. And I think we'll be a little rusty coming out of the bye week. But again, who knows? I hope I'm wrong, but I think the Cardinals come out on top 33-31 on a last-second field goal. But it should be a good one, just like every other Vikings game has been this year. So enjoy. I'm going to get ready, get prepared for this game, watch the end of this Jaguars versus Broncos game. About 1:45 left. Jaguars have the ball, trying to get up on top of these corny Russell Wilson-led Broncos. So I'm looking forward to that. But enjoy the game today, guys. We will have a halftime report, and we will have an immediate reaction to the game. So make sure you guys tap in and enjoy the game, guys. SKOL'd Vikes. Peace.